Genshin Impact, a game you've heard from dweebs across America, and a game that you're somewhat interested in playing because you're here right now, and it's about damn time. Genshin Impact is consistently being nominated for and winning multiple game awards. It has over 60 million active players and is continually being updated every couple of weeks. It's only a matter of time until you pick up your phone or computer and install this Goliath of a game, really, just to see what all the hype is about. And considering the game has about 80 gigabytes of storage for PC, you can safely assume that it has a pretty astonishing amount of content. It can be pretty overwhelming to someone who wants to check it out for the first time, and especially for someone who's never played a gacha game before. In this video, I'm not going to tell you what not to prioritize in the game. If something looks interesting, go ahead, just do it. But I am going to tell you what would be useful to prioritize so you can have a better understanding of the game and get ahead early. I'm going to talk about everything from wishing and character building to quests and exploration. We're going to focus on everything up to adventure rank 30, because by then you should have a decent understanding of the game and its mechanics in order to look further into anything that you don't quite understand yet. But we can't do that without talking about what the adventure rank actually is. So in the world of Teyvat, you're a wandering traveler who shows up pretty much out of nowhere. You're soon indoctrinated into something called the Adventurers Guild, which is an organization that rewards you for exploring and kicking ass in the form of an adventure rank. After a certain amount of exploring and kicking, you will start to level up your adventure rank, which guides a lot of what you can unlock in-game, and I'll bring those things up when we get to their categories. But for now, we're going to start with priority number 1, which is building a team. All right, so this is your team menu. This is where you're going to formulate your team and just pick the characters that you enjoy playing. Say you like these 4 characters. These are all characters that you're going to get in the beginning of the game. You're going to get Amber, Xingqiu, Xiangling, and Kale. Great, so you have your team. Now, you're just going to pick an individual character and you're going to level them up. So say you like Amber, you'll click into her, and it's going to take you to this page here with a bunch of tabs. The first tab is attributes. This is your character's level. And if you hit details, it's just a breakdown of all of their stats. Don't worry about this for now. The important part is here, the level. Right now, my Amber is 50 out of 60. As soon as you get a character, they're going to start with 1 out of 20. And in order to actually level them up, you just click it. All right, it's going to take you to this page, and these are going to be the materials here that you're going to need in order to level up that character. And you just get them for playing the game. So you'll just pick one, hit the plus sign a bunch of times, and you'll see that bar up top start to go up. Now, the reason it says 50 out of 60 is because the 60 for me is her level cap. Can't go any higher right now. And the reason is because of her ascension level. And if you click on this little icon, you'll see all of the ascensions available. So there's 6 in total, and when you start, you're going to have none. But at level 20, when you hit that cap, that first cap, you can ascend them to increase that level cap to 40. And you get these prizes when you do so. Then you can continue to level them up. And right here, I have the 3rd ascension, which means after 60, if I ascend a 4th time, the new cap will be 70. And so on up until 90. 90 is the final level cap, and that's not going to happen for a while. The next tab down is going to be weapons, and this is where you can attach different weapons to your character, and they all do something different. They all have special effects, and right now I have the rust. This is the amount of attack you get at a baseline. This is its special attribute that it adds. It adds 26.8% more attack. And this is its effect. And as you progress through the game and start wishing and all that, you're going to accumulate a ton of bows. Mostly they're going to be blue at 3 stars. You're going to get a good amount of purple 4-star ones. And then occasionally you may get a 5-star gold weapon. There are a few that are going to be well worth keeping. Generally, you're going to keep all of the purple ones, the 4 stars. But there are a select few blues, the 3 stars, that you're never going to want to get rid of because you're going to use them forever. And one of them is a bow called the Slingshot. Another one is a sword called the Harbinger of Dawn. And the last is a catalyst called Thrilling Tales of the Dragon Slayers. Keep them. Keep all of them. And this is where you have a choice to make. So every character has their own kit, which means they have a bunch of abilities that they can do that are unique to them, that make them playable with other characters and not playable with other characters. That can get pretty overwhelming at first. So if you're curious, you can go into their talents and read everything they do, and then pick a weapon that makes sense for them, or you can just pick a weapon that's drippy as shit, like this one. So if you read Amber's kit, this doesn't really help her out much, but it's black and red and gold. Looks tight. And you level them up the same way, right? They have a level cap. You can ascend them. Mine is 51 out of 60. And if you go into enhance, you can attach different materials here to level them up. And it's going to be the same exact thing. It's going to keep going up and up and up. And then max EXP reached, that would be 60. I'm going to have to ascend it in order to break that cap and go higher. But basically, pick a cool weapon, level it up. Okay, next on the list down is artifacts, and trust me, artifacts gets deep. Just don't worry about them. Ignore them until adventure rank 20, or at least when you feel like you have a decent grasp on the game and you're ready to learn something new, because these can get overwhelming very quickly. Remember on weapons when I was saying that you can look through a character's talents and just find out everything they do so you can equip the best weapon for them? It's optional for weapons in the beginning. It's sort of optional for artifacts in the beginning too, but it's way more important for artifacts. And it's much more convoluted. There's 5, as opposed to weapons where there's just 1. So I'm just going to quickly tell you what artifacts are, but at the end of this, just don't worry about them. So artifacts are like equipment that you can attach to your character to give them different effects. And now there's a ton. There are 55 different artifact sets in the game. But in the beginning, you're basically going to get everything from prayers to springtime and prayers for illumination down to adventurer and lucky dog. Everything in between there. They try to simplify it in the beginning so it's not overwhelming. But honestly, it still gets overwhelming. But if you click on any individual one, you have a 2-piece set bonus and a 4-piece set bonus. There are 5 slots you can fill, so it's up to you to mix and match whatever you want. So you can take 2 of these to get the energy recharge plus 20%, and then maybe you can take another 2 of these to get elemental mastery. But if you want, you can just get the 4-piece set here by attaching 4 of these and getting this 2-piece set plus this 4-piece set bonus. So you'll get the energy recharge plus using the elemental burst regenerates 2 energy for all your party members. And like I said, there's 5 slots, so usually people use the 5th one as any random artifact just to get good stats in, because each of them have their own individual stats. Flower's main stat is always HP, the rest are up for debate. Feather's main stat is always flat attack, the rest is up for debate. The sands have a few options, the goblets have a few options, and the crowns also have a few options. And really, these 3 are where you mix and match everything to try to get the best stats on your character. And this gets so deep that late game players are going to be doing them forever. I am at the end of the game, and I'm still upgrading artifacts to try to get the best ones. So this is something that once you learn and once you start finagling with, you're just always going to do it. All right, so take your time. Don't worry about them for now. And when you feel like learning more, then jump into artifacts and see what you can do there. The next tab down is constellations. Again, don't worry about these for now. You'll get them as you get copies of characters. But a quick overview is every copy of the character that you do get will unlock the next constellation. When you initially get a character, all of these will be locked. But say you wish, you happen to get another Amber, you get the first constellation, which adds an extra effect to that character. So on and so forth, all the way down to C6, which at that point your character is maxed out. No matter how many more copies you get of them, you will not get more constellations, and usually the C6 is the most powerful. With the exception of a few, including Amber, because this isn't that good. Which is okay in this case because, again, I've been playing the game for 4 years. I only have C1 Amber. So again, as you progress, if you're curious, check them out. Maybe you can learn about a character you really likes constellations, where you want to get all of them. You really want to get them to C6, but not important. You're going to get them accidentally. And the last one here is talents. This is a breakdown page of everything the character can do. Once again, not important in the beginning. Don't worry about these. Only if you're curious, you can read them. But again, I'll give you a quick overview. The first one is always your normal attack. No matter which character it is, it's just clicking the mouse or whatever the normal attack is on a controller. I don't play with a controller. The second one is always the skill, the E skill, or whatever it is on the controller. And the last one is always the ultimate, the Q. And these three are the skills that you can individually level up once you hit a certain ascension for the character. And it tells you what materials you're going to need to level them up. Say you really want to level up the normal attacks of Amber, as long as you have these materials, they'll show up here. I have 5 and I need 2. I have 74 of these and I have 3, which means I can level it up. And it'll tell you what stats are going to increase and how if you do level them up. So the first hit of the normal attack is going to go from 39.1% to 42% damage, so on, blah, 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 all the way down. The rest are ascension talents, which means for this first one, the first time you ascend a character, you'll unlock this little effect. Then you'll have to ascend them 2 more times to unlock this next effect. This last one is always going to be there. And usually this has something to do with exploring. So for Amber, when you're flying, the stamina decreases slower. But again, only focus on these if you're curious. So overall, for this entire character page, in the beginning of the game, up until adventure rank 20, I recommend just focusing on leveling up your character in the attributes page, attaching a cool weapon, and leveling that up on the weapons page. That's it. Okay, priority number 2 is wishing. All right, so remember when you were a kid and you went to the supermarket and on the way out, there would be those quarter machines where you can get stick-on tattoos. They were probably themed after Pokemon or something like that. And the thing with those was you could check them out and you had an idea of which one of those tattoos you wanted, but once you put that quarter in, it was up to fate to determine which one you were actually gonna get. It was completely random. And games have adopted a similar philosophy and have created something called gacha games. Genshin is a gacha game. When you play through, you'll accumulate something called primogems. Primogems in this instance would be like the quarter you used to get the tattoo. And just like when you were a kid and you wanted the Gyarados tattoo, there was no guarantee that you would, and sometimes you had to settle for like a Weedle or something. Now the same applies here. You use your primogems to wish on a character or a weapon that's on the banner at that time. Now chances are you're gonna get a 3-star weapon. Chances are even smaller that you'll get a 4-star character or a 4-star weapon. The creme de la creme and the bread and butter to this game is eventually you'll get the 5-star character or the 5-star weapon that you wanted all along. These would be the Gyarados. This is what we save all of our primogems for, so you can gamble like an addict to get your favorite character or weapon. And let me tell you, when it happens, it feels good. And keep in mind, it's not 100% random. There is something called a pity system where you are guaranteed to get the 5-star character or weapon that you want at a maximum of 90 wishes. But there is a tiny chance that you'll get it beforehand. Or sometimes you even get doubles, which is a crazy phenomenon that makes you jump out of your seat. Now, keep in mind, there are 2 types of wishes. We have the limited event wishes, which are these 3, and these are only here for 21 days at a time. We are 5 days into this one, so there's 16 days left. And then this last one here, that is the standard wish, which is always there 100% of the time. The limited banners use either primogems or something called intertwined fate to wish for, these purple wishes. The standard banner uses also primogems or something called acquaint fate to wish for. These are the blue ones. Now, general rule of thumb is to never use your primogems for the standard wish banner. As you play the game, you're gonna get a bunch of these. just use them on here because the characters never change, and eventually you're going to get what you want. You do use them for the limited banners. You wait for a character or a weapon that you really want, and you drop your Primo Gems and your Intertwined Fates all in there and hope for the best. And a quick side note, if you don't know if you like that character or not, you can go to your events and go to test run, and the characters that are on banner at that time are going to be in this test run tab. There's a chance that you'll get these 4 stars, so they include them too, but these are the 5 stars that you might get, and you can just try them out right here. If you like them, wish for them. If not, you can wait 3 weeks for the next new character or possibly a rerun character to show up. And if you are starting right now, there are a ton of really good characters that will rerun that you can get. Priority number 3 is exploring. So exploring is going to be one of the main things you do in this game. And with every update, or most updates, there's an expansion to the map that allows you to explore even more, which is nuts because look at this. You're gonna start here in Mondstadt, and as you progress, you're gonna open up all of this down here through the ocean to these islands, back up through the jungle, through this godforsaken desert, up to France, essentially. And then the newest region, all of this. And we are right here. It's massive. So, one thing that I'm glad that my minor OCD was able to take care of early was unlocking these teleport waypoints as soon as the region opened up, and also these Statue of the Sevens. The little icons are the teleport waypoints, the big bubbly ones are the Statues of the Seven. Now when you first open the map, it's just going to be Mondstadt, but these Statue of the Sevens that you get to when you travel through the darkness will open up the rest of the map. These are not going to be there. They're going to be blurred, and you have to go get them in order to be able to have the option to just hit teleport and go wherever you want. And trust me, unlocking these is super worth it because not only do you get 5 Primo Gems, which is again used for wishing, for each one of them you unlock, but there's for sure going to be a point in which you're doing a quest and you only have up to say right here opened up on the map, and then you have to get here, and it's going to take you 20 minutes to just traverse through here to get there. But if you had this unlocked already, you could just teleport. Other things that I would focus on are finding oculuses, which feed the Statue of the Seven for treasure, opening chests along the way, whatever you find, and picking up everything you possibly can. Say you're exploring around and you see this. Oh, sweet flower, sweet. Pick it up. Oh, look, a tree. Sunsetia? Sunsetia? I don't know. Pick it up. Another sweet flower. Pick it up. Because you never know if as you're upgrading a character or making some food, they might need this random flower and they might need 60 of them. So you might as well just pick everything up. Also, you have the option to cook, and I would for sure cook steaks and sweet madames. Steaks can revive your character if they die in battle, so you don't have to keep going back to the Statue of the Seven. And sweet madames will heal you if your healer isn't really up to snuff. You can just feed the character and it'll heal them. So stocking up on raw meat, fowl, and those sweet flowers are useful. Priority number 4 is the quests. So quests are pretty much what make the world and the characters meaningful. They build up the story and the personalities of all your favorite or not so favorite characters, but the menu could definitely be a little confusing, and so many quests are going to be thrown at you from the start that you might not really know where to start. So initially, when you open up the quests menu, you're going to start with this tab, and this is the tab that shows every quest available. It doesn't break it up into categories really, it just shows you everything available. For me, I have these 4. But these tabs further break it down. The first tab is Archon quests. And this is the main storyline. These are the most important quests, and they're voiced. They have some of the coolest cutscenes I've ever seen in any game. and they give you the most rewards for completing. These are the ones you're going to focus on if you just care about the main story. Now, I don't have any because I did them all. But the next tab is going to be story quests. These have nothing to do with the main quest whatsoever. They are individual quests for individual characters if you happen to be interested in their backstories. As you can see, I've also done them all because I think they are interesting. But personally, I would recommend doing them only if you like the character because you'd be a little more invested in the story. Otherwise, they don't help the main story whatsoever, so do it at your leisure. The next tab is commission quests, and these are the ones that I have because they are new every single day. They're also not important for the main story whatsoever, but they are very simple, and to be honest, you're probably going to focus on them to some capacity for the entirety of playing this game. Reason being is because if you finish all 4, then you get a commission bonus from Catherine, and they're pretty decent, especially for a new player. Now, you could start doing these at adventure rank 12, and technically you only have to do them until rank 24, because then you can just satisfy the requirements for these quests by getting something called encounter points, which you'll get just by playing the game, really. I haven't done one of these quests in like a year, or whenever these came out. And I have all of this as backup. Now, the last tab is going to be World Quest, and this is going to be the bulk of all of the quests that you get. There are tons! You're always going to have some backed up unless you, again, have that OCD that I mentioned before and do all of them. Again, they have nothing to do with the story. They're just scattered all across the map, and they're these little one-off quests that will give you a decent amount of rewards. Some are extremely convoluted and have multiple parts, but some are as simple as like giving a leaf to an old man on a bridge because his dog liked leaves. So if you want the rewards, go for it. If not, they're not super important. So if I were to wrap it up, it would be absolutely do the Archon quests, do the commission quests if you want the rewards, and don't worry about these 2 story quests and world quests unless you're curious. The final priority, number 5, is resin. Now, while you're on your map, you'll notice that up here, there is some currency. This is resin, and it's time boxed. So at default, you get 200 out of 200. As you use them, they drop, but they replenish with time. So I'll get 1 in 4 minutes and 5 seconds. It'll be fully replenished in about 21 hours. Now, when you're upgrading your characters, you'll notice that if you don't have enough of these and you click into it and you want to go here, the treasure collection cost is here. It costs 20 resin. So you go in here, you beat the thing. Now you have to pay 20 resin to be awarded these materials. If you don't have enough resin, you cannot claim the rewards. Now, I don't really know how I feel about this. This is a pretty general concept in these types of games, and basically it just disallows you from building up your character from 0 to 100 in a day if you want to grind the whole day. But on the other hand, for those of you who have a addictive personality, this could prevent you from just spending an entire week playing this game and disregarding your responsibilities and your family and your friends. So I could see it being useful. Now, you're not going to be able to use these until you hit adventure rank 8. And the first thing that you're going to unlock to be able to use them with is something called the Blossom of Revelation here. If you recognize these books as the reward, these are the materials you use to level up your character. So you can spend 20 resin, beat the enemies that pop up at this little flower, and gain these rewards. Now, those are the green clouds on the map. At adventure rank 12, you'll unlock these yellow ones, which are similar, pretty much the same enemies and the same style of battle, but now instead of those level up materials, you'll get Mora, which you need to level up the character anyway. So they're both useful, and honestly, I still do them. It's something you'll do forever. Now, the talent ones that you saw before, you'll unlock at adventure rank 25. That's when you could do all of these and get more into the little intricacies of leveling up a character and what they do. And by the time you do unlock them, they're going to be a pretty big priority because these talents go up to level 10. And the requirements for them go up pretty exponentially. So if you want your Amber's little explosive doll to do big damage, you're gonna have to save up a bunch of these guides to freedom and a lot of Mora. So all in all, if you have a character that you really like and you want to level them up, but you don't have enough books or Mora, shoot for these. You should be able to do it just fine. All right, quick overview. Priority number 1, build a team of 4 characters that you enjoy, level up the characters, and level up the weapons you attach to them. Priority number 2, gambling, wishing. Save up as many Primo Gems as you can, and wait for a character on the limited banner that you think you would like. Spend your intertwined fates and Primo Gems on them, and on the standard banner, only use your acquaint fates. Good luck. Priority number 3 is exploring. Try to unlock the teleport waypoints and the statues of the 7 early, and essentially pick up everything you see along the way. And have fun with it, the world's huge. Priority number 4 is quests, and do the Archon quests. Do the story quests if you're interested in the character. Do the commission quests if you want to rank up quicker. And do the world quests whenever you have time. And lastly, priority number 5, which is your resin. Use them if you're short on character level up material or Mora to speed along their leveling up process. And eventually you'll use them for things like artifacts and talent materials. 2 quick honorable mentions. Number 1, the limited events. So if you go into your events tab, you're gonna see a bunch of shit in here. You might not know which ones to do, but if you look through and you end up seeing one like this one where it has a time remaining, try it out. Usually the limited events give pretty good rewards, and they're kind of quirky. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're not, but for the most part they're always different and they give a little spice to the game. And sometimes you get free weapons, and sometimes those weapons end up being really good later. Like there was an event in 1.2 for a weapon called the Festering Desire that ended up being one of the best free-to-play options for Farina in version 4.2 years later, and I never did it. Which means I either had to spend, 20 hours fishing to get another not-so-good free-to-play option, or buying the Battle Pass weapon. Guess which one I did? And the second honorable mention is check your mail. It's mail time. Pop in here. There's always going to be red exclamation points, and it's just going to be a bunch of free stuff. It could be 300 Primo Gems. It could be Mora. When the game came out on Xbox, they gave us these wings, new recipes, but it's just free stuff, and you don't have to do anything. Just open it up. That's really all I got for you. I wanted to make this because I have a couple of friends who I've tried to convince to play this game with me, and they just wouldn't because there's just too much stuff. They get overwhelmed. So I'll be sending this video to all of them, obviously, just to try to do it again. But hopefully this helps you. Maybe you learn a thing or two. Send it to anyone who wants to start but doesn't really know where. And if you think I missed anything, leave it in the comments. Have fun in the game. Good luck on your wishes. Ciao.